Right. Mr. Federal.
Thank you, Judge.
Honestly, go fuck yourself, sir. You don't say that, okay? You don't lose a trial where a jury acquits someone and finds them overwhelmingly not guilty and say, I gave my sincere obligation to look into this, and I'm telling you all I saw when she's guilty. Again, respectfully, go fuck yourself.
Is that a fair characterization of what you said, Your Honor?
I want to hear objection before I hear a word out of your mouth.
Objection.
Overruled. Sit down. Oh, I said overruled. Sit down.
Swear again like that. That was, no, I mean, whatever. That was, I shouldn't have done that.
A few moments later.
You, as a prosecutor, have got to be out of your fucking mind.
Nose.
Dude, Jimmy, look at those ears.
The ears don't bother me as much.
No, I don't trust a man. I don't trust a man with a lobe like that. No,
really,
not a fucking chance.
The mouth is butthole to me.
Very thin, paper thin.
The nose.
The nose.
The brows.
Well, listen, I will tell you though, I kind of like a fucked up nose on a guy.
I like a big old honker. I like a big nose.
Old nose. Give me that big bitch. Yeah, like, I'm into it.
Come over here, cluck cluck.
Yeah.
I see some chickens that went moving on up in my biz, cluck cluck, running. You gotta be with the kids, the kids, the kids, the kids, the kids, kids.
And I go, oop, clutch, clench, kegel. We did it all. And I go, oh, and what happened? And they go, well, we just got 4,000 plus pages, bitch. And I said, stop it. Show me it. Take me to Unimpound Town immediately, if not sooner. So what happens?
The bitch is here.
Why are you at a football game? Are you a Fonz correspondent?
Well, no, because it's only for men over 30. Okay? Have a great night, boys. Fuck off.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
Hey, Blues Clues, motherfucker.
Hello, lovies. Today is Thursday. It is July 30th. And I, for the record, am 20 friggin' minutes early. Can't tell me shit. Can you hear me? I've connected, or I think I've connected, the boom to the laptop. Is this working? Is this thing on? Tiny Mary. Oh! Tiny Mary and Tiny Jesus. Where's Punch? Find your home. Find your home. Are you too good for your home, sir? All right. Punch is somewhere. I'll find him. Good golly. All right. Anyway, we're good. Who is an early bird? Meatball. An early NK. These are times that are changing. Okay? We're focused. Laser focused. And we have a lot to discuss. Listen, we're going in today and we're going to recap my major takeaways from Lindsay Clancy trial, day 1, 2, and 3. We're going to go through opening statements. Not at all. Why, babes? Because we can't. Because we physically can't. Are you with me? Nope. Last case that I said that I would cover that was involving the death of children was Harmony Montgomery out of Concord, New Hampshire. And I was unwell. I was unwell by the end of that trial. In this case, I'm pushing through like the very uncomfortable, the very sad, the devastation for a different purpose. And that purpose is for moms and for women to have, we have to lessen the stigma of postpartum depression, of postpartum anxiety, of it turning into a life-threatening condition, which is postpartum psychosis. And the more we talk about it and don't put our heads in the sand, and the more that we say, hey, I see you, the more that we can help. And I think that Lindsay's case is going to be case law, because this is different. This is different than an Andrea Yates case from back in the olden days. I don't even know when that was, 90s. I was a small child. I also remember, well, Casey Anthony. That's kind of different. But like when you think of these cases, it automatically makes you go to the death and the reverence of the children that were lost, and that you feel that there needs to be punishment. You feel there needs to be justice. And then there is a case like Lindsay, and it is somebody who is a nurse, has all the education in the world, is a mother and baby nurse at one of the best hospitals in Massachusetts. She goes for help. She goes for help. She goes for help. Inpatient, outpatient, partial inpatient programs. She's doing it all. And this is still the result. So will there be negligence noted on prescribers and providers? Or will the Commonwealth and the prosecutor, Lady Buckingham, will she be able to prove that this was, as she says, an intentional act, methodical, swift, and cruel and calculated? I think you know my take, but I'm going to try to call balls and strikes. There was a couple of things that I've seen thus far that have been in the favor of the prosecution. But then witnesses are blowing that shit out of the water. I said, oh, didn't see that coming, Mr. Paramedic. And that's why we're here, because we're going to break down all the medical testimony. Okay? All right. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Next, before we get into the heavy, because I can't end with fun at the end. All right. We're not going to be, this is going to get like probably progressively, we're going to be in our feelings. We're going to be holding each other. Put your hand up, bitch. Because it's a lot. But we're skipping all gruesome stuff, guys, because we'll still need a trigger warning because of the topic and because of what we are covering. However, no, I've had to fast forward. I know the case details. You know the case details. Okay. I don't need to go into, I can't. Do you want to sleep? Are we sleeping tonight? We can't. But we're going to have to cover the major parts and Cliff Notes the shit out of this. Okay, so before we go there, I was betrayed. I have been betrayed. By who, you asked? The United States Postal Service. Guys, I told you I was going to get a passport because I'm going to Scotland. Right? Now we're expediting the shit out of this because I took forever to go down to Waltham to the Ham to get your BC birth certificate, for those of you not in the know. So I go to the local USPS, and Postmaster Paul gave me a friggin' run for my money if I've ever seen one. Did I have an appointment at a different post office to get my actual passport and the photo? Yes. Did I think what I looked like? 10 years. 10 years betrayal. Is it a mug shot or a passport? I'm going to punch a Paul. Paul then says to me, I go, can I smile? He goes, don't be a pain in the ass. I go, oh, excuse me, Paul. I said, do people come out photogenic in this? And he said, absolutely not. He takes the picture. He quite literally looks at it, does a, he goes, 10 years. I go, Paul, are we fighting? Are we fist fighting later? I'll never be the same. All right. You know who that is? She bends the knee to no one. America. Merch coming. Thank you. Okay. Next. That was psychotic. Oh my God. Maybe put a stitch of makeup on your face. Don't look like a matron. Like, who put a matronly like hair clip in my hair? I was at work. I was like, ew, what do I care? And then I say to Paul, I go, Paul, is this in color or black and white? He goes, they're in color. Cool. Paul, can you guys hire a photographer? This is rude what you've done. One more time for the people in the back. You having a bad day? Not as bad as her. Not the fuck as bad as her. Woo! Also, sidebar, cost $1 billion when you needed to be expedited. And then it was not really, obviously, I'm exaggerating, putting a little spice on it. It was almost $300. It was $298 because it needed to be expedited. And then when it goes to the turnaround, because he's like, it could go to one of 20 locations. I go, what is this? I'm sorry. Oh, why wouldn't it go to Boston? What do you mean? He goes, it could go to Portsmouth. It could go to Pennsylvania. We don't know where it goes. I go, do you not mail it? Paul, you're the fucking mail. And he's like, I don't know. So then he was like, you should pay an extra $23.98. We're going to get it out. Then it's going to be overnighted to you. And I was like, Paul, do I have a choice? And he said, no. So, salut. That's to you, Paul. I'll never forget it. What a world. Okay. Next. I don't think it's appropriate. I'm going to have to do it over the weekend. I can't do, I went to the P.O. box. Is it appropriate? You tell me. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to do P.O. box now, or if we should just get into the trial. Guys, you're the boss. I'm the horse. Wait. 1 P.O. box, 2 trial. Because I don't want my people who are like, oh, Kim, did you ever go to the P.O. box? Oh, you got time. You've got, you're telling me. We've got time, bitch. All right, let's go. Nurse Kim. Oh, it says breathe and believe. Good things are coming. Dear Nurse Kim, I am a lovey and I watched your exit interview stream. I truly hope it was not an exit and you will be bringing us joy again. I posted this during your stream, but you probably didn't read it. Oh. It's very cute. That is very, very nice. Thank you so much, Lovey. I love those dogs. Dogs doing yoga. Best thing I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Sorry if I look at this. We've got handle with care. What I do. She's a carer. Oh. What do we got? Okay. Staying strong. A journal. These were all meant to come to me actually today. Oh, the universe is working with us, people. Thank you. Tiny Mary, Tiny Jesus, Real Mary, the whole bunch of you. Staying Strong, a journal. A companion to the number 1 New York Times bestseller by Demi Lovato. So I'm just going to be a tiny bird. If you don't like where you are, move. You are not a tree. Oh, you don't say. Okay. Hi, Kimmy. I got you some swag, so I figured I'd send it over so you can use it to make a shit list or best wishes. Thank you so much, Colleen. Oh. Oh, am I allowed to? I don't even know if I'm allowed to do this. Can I do this? Can I put this company out? All right, I'm not going to put the company out, but it's a local company, and I don't know if Colleen would let me. Oh, no. All right, well, okay, I'm not doing it until she says yes. If she says yes, I'll show it later, but thank you so much, Colleen. You guys are the best. Like, who is she? Who does she think she is? Okay. This big bitch says fragile. I think I'm Italian. She's my sister. All right, the ultimate mailer. It's from Tupac. Is this bubble wrap? This thing on. Hope no one needed eardrums. Oh, am I going to be able to open it? Oh, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Sorry, guys. I feel like I'm panicking at a birthday party. If people are just watching you, they're like, could you just open the fucking present? She's been anxious since 86. You know this is true. Okay. All right, we are being fragile, though, because we are Italian. What is happening? What is this? All right, so this Italian bubble wrap just continues. Oh my God. More protected than Tutankhamun. Slowly, extraction, slowly. Oh, Kenya. Oh my God, I thought it was just, I was so excited with the regular board. Can you see this? Nurse Kim unsupervised. Framed Karen Reed, a Diet Coke, my medallion, Zabar's break with Mr. Betterow, Tiny Mary and Tiny Jesus. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh. Stop it. I got something in my pocket for you. Talk shit Tuesday, Thickums Thursday, Sunday service. David Unetti, our bowl of spaghetti, clinically unhinged. I love all your faces. Thank you so much. That is so kind. Oh, babe. I don't know who did this. J&C, thank you so much. I love it. Like, I'm obsessed. It's going on the thing. Look at this. Oh, wait. I have a mantle. I have a Mickey mantle. I have a Kimmy mantle. I'm putting it up there. It's going to live up there. And then I'm going to get my shit together. And then it's not going to be like low and slow. Look how big this is. It's a big bitch. This is a Thickums. Hi. Focal piece. I'm obsessed. Thank you, babe. Okay. And last but not least, shall we dance? This one says it's from an Amazon service center. And now I question, did I send this to me? But why would I send it to my people? I do have a mailbox and a porch. Oh my. Oh. Okay. Is this somebody sent me a neck and back massager with heat? we putting this bitch on? Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Oh, I'm sorry. Does she have a period? Oh, she need a little heat massage? Yeah. Throw some heat on me and make me feel less rage. This is the best thing ever. I didn't buy this for myself. I know I didn't because I wouldn't have done it. So now, but how do... Lovey, whoever Lovey said this to me, can you let me know? Is anyone here? I love it. Oh, it hurts like hell. Is it from you, not that Mother Teresa? Oh. Listen, I want a deep tissue in the neck. Kill me. Murk me. I want to have an injury afterwards. I want to be like, oh God, that's weird. Are we okay? This is so kind. Oh. I think we have a theme here. We're Thickums theming. I can tell it's going to be good. Listen, we'll get you going. We're going to get you going. We're going to get you doing all the things. Whoever sent this to me, I love you. I thank you. I don't deserve it, but I appreciate it so very much. I can't even say it. And you know, it's been a lot, I think, for like a lot of people. And I wanted to tell you all that I love you. And this is the important stuff. You know, us. Cases. Corruption. Everything else. We can't. We can't. Sorry. Is your bandwidth absolutely snapped? I go, oh, I don't have it in me. Do not. Oh, you know, and like what I give attention to will continue to be, will grow. So what I want to give attention to is what I came here for. And that was always, I thought, maybe having an opinion and being able to talk to my nurses and my lovies and just say, hey, is this how you saw it? And this is what I think, because I have a big mouth and some clinical experience behind it. And it makes me feel like we're going to get somewhere and that we could be making a difference. So as altruistic as it sounds, I can't dwell on shit that is not productive because it's not good for me and it's not good for you. So that's it. And we're all okay. We're all okay. You good? I'm good. Everyone's going to be good. Working towards anti-corruption. All right. Thank you. I love you. I really appreciate that. So now, oh, and I did put a little thing in the chat today, guys. I never do this, but we don't have a little ticker because tickers are going to say something else. Our tickers are going to be 988 if you're having a mental health emergency. And there is a maternal, like a women's number that I'm going to post as well. And so if you are wanting energies to be on trial coverages, on case coverages, and if you want to say, hey, it was fun, I guess, you know, while it lasted, but we don't want to put any energy into division, only in moving forward and injustice. That's it. So I'll read it all out to the class if you want me to. And if you want me to keep your comment just in my phone, it'll stay there forever. I love your faces. Let's get into it. We're doing opening statements starting at minute, oh please. She's got it. Starting at minute 10 of the... Oh! It's beeping. It's caching. I'm going to be reading at the end. Opening statement at 10 minutes. This is Prosecutor Buckingham. And then we'll see Defense Attorney Kevin Reddington. Okay, on your mark. Oh, wait, no, I have to pull it up. JK. She forgets. Where did she go? Did she go here?
Basement. So when he went in the house, that's the first place he went, just down into the basement. He's still on the phone with 911 when he finds each child with an exercise band still wrapped around their neck. He screams for help, and he says he killed the kids. Efforts made to resuscitate Cora and Dawson were futile, but first responders from Duxbury and the surrounding communities were persistent, and they kept trying to resuscitate them all the way to the hospital. But when they arrived at the hospital, there was nothing more that medical staff could do for Cora and Dawson. The staff at Beth Israel were able to get a heartbeat on Callan, but he never started breathing on his own. He never regained consciousness. He had no brain activity. Nonetheless, he was transferred to Boston Children's Hospital, where he died 3 days later on January 27th. The defendant was taken to South Shore Hospital and then transported subsequently to Brigham and Women's in Boston. She had multiple traumas, including spinal injuries, as well as superficial injuries to both her wrists and her neck. She is paralyzed.
Hello. Testing 1, 2. Kimmy and the boom. Is this me now? I just checked it, E-Chase, and I changed it from the MacBook Scoobity Beeps, and now I am in the Shure. There she is. We're here. Crack-a-lackin'. Okay, talk to me. So this is the first time that any prosecutor has acknowledged that Lindsay was paralyzed. Okay? Swear to God, read the previous filings. I go, am I out of my fucking tits right now? Because they kept being like, well, you know, she says she's in a wheelchair. But it was like, no, she is. So this was kind of a big concession from the prosecution. Okay? Thank you, E-Chase.
We expect during the course of this trial that you'll hear the defendant made claims that either right after Patrick left the house or after he called her from the CVS, depending on which version of the events she's telling, she heard a voice, a male voice, a voice that she had never heard before, a voice that she never heard again. And that voice told her that it was her last chance. She had to kill the kids so that she could kill herself.
Okay, trigger warning. Trigger warning. Okay, so for any of our clinical staff here, you're going to hear that. And we know command hallucinations. You know auditory, you know visual, you know our hallucinations can come to us and it can be very scary. They can technically be not for us, but our patients. And it was interesting to hear this spin from the prosecution in opening statement to say that there was no religious undertone, when I know damn right well, because we've read all of the filings, that it was go with God, baby, right? And she's saying that either Lindsay said, either she heard this voice right after Patrick left, or after she called him, or after he called her and then she called him back at CVS getting the laxative. That's also going to be a point of contention for nurses. I hope that every bit of you, every single one of you were like, wait, what are they trying to allege here? Because their story is not going to match up with what we would say would make sense. Okay? Stay with me.
She immediately took action when she heard the voice, with no direction or details from the so-called voice, and she killed the children. Once she killed the children, the voice stopped. When you consider this information in the course of the trial, ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you consider the source, the timing, the substance of her statements about this voice. You're also going to hear from, or you may hear from, forensic psychologists and psychiatrists who talk about what's called command hallucinations and voices that people hear before they do something. And when you hear that testimony, I ask that you keep in mind the details of what she's saying the voice told her, and the details of when this voice spoke to her. Another important thing to remember throughout the course of this trial is that this is not a case about the Lindsay Clancy that sits before you today. This case is about the Lindsay Clancy on January 24th, 2023, at the time of the crimes. This was not a woman in the throes of psychosis on January 24th, 2023. This was a woman who acted intentionally, rationally, and swiftly.
Ooh, Buckingham. What the buck? What the buck? That's hurtful. All right. Saying that, like, when you look at infirmed Lindsay Clancy today, I would beg to differ that she was in a more fragile place on January 24th, 2023 than she is today. So that is a spin from the prosecution that I don't like to see. I want to see facts matter journalism, facts matter prosecution. Come on, guys.
To accomplish a very specific goal, to kill. You'll see and hear evidence about all the things that she did that day, what she did in the days leading up to this incident, leading to the murders. You'll hear her spending time with her family and friends. You'll hear her appearing to be in good spirits and doing better for all intents and purposes. On that very day, you'll hear.
Okay. Now, anyone with a psych background, who's our psych nurses? When are you the most likely to have commit schmuicide or homicide? It's when you're on your way up. You don't do it when you're in a massive depression. Want to know why? Because a lot of people don't have the will to put their pants on or put their one foot in front of the other. It's when you are on your way back up and you're doing better that you are the highest risk for a psychiatric emergency. So figure that out, ma'am, before you start talking your ass.
Here, she interacted with people at the doctor's office. She came home and took care of the kids. She talked to people on the phone and via text message. The evidence will show you she was not psychotic that day. Throughout the evidence in this trial, you will learn about the defendant being the classic overachiever in school, in her personal life, in her nursing career. She was someone who liked to control every little detail of her life, of her family's life. In contrast, the pictures you'll see of the doting mother, the dedicated nurse, you'll also see a side of Lindsay Clancy that's different. Somebody extremely controlling, meticulous, and manipulative.
Do you know what that is, babe? That's called OCD. That is called hypervigilance. And unless you've lived it and unless you've been there, it is very difficult. Like when you see Lindsay's, her entries and the meticulousness in which she tried to control things that she could, because you have to recognize that everything else was out of her control. You know, there's no manual when we have kids, and especially when you have, she has a 5-year-old, she has a 3-year-old, and she has an 8-month-old. And she is trying to put on the face. She is trying to put on the mask that we all put on every day, and we go cry in a bathroom, right? We all know me. I've cried in a bathroom for how many years? Not in a while, but just saying, have done it. Because you don't allow that anyone to see the kinks in your armor. And when you're journaling, you're allowed to be like, okay, I know this. A plus B equals C. Why am I not better? And you will learn, Shannon, that Lindsay did everything in her power to combat this depression her postpartum and did everything in any mother's power that we have. I mean, how do you say, like, oh, I checked myself into a psych facility and was released 3 weeks before the crime? Oh, I got something. I got something for you, Shannon. Thank you. Mazel.
Days were laid out with specificity.
Yeah.
Strict schedules were expected to be maintained.
Kids.
Food was planned carefully. Sleep was scheduled to the minute.
I know why.
And in the time after Callan was born, her last baby, the family had to adjust. And by all sources that I expect you're going to hear at that trial, that summer was great. But after Patrick had finished his paternity leave and was back to work full time, when she no longer had a nanny to watch the baby, do laundry, tidy up the house, follow her schedule, when she was responsible for it all, it was hard. It was hard for her to maintain that control. It was hard for her to bond with her kids. And in efforts to maintain control, she withheld information from her husband, from her doctors.
Duh.
She reported serious symptoms that were inconsistent with her daily activities, you'll hear. And ultimately, on January 24th, 2023, the defendant made a calculated decision. This was a woman who no longer liked the life she thought she wanted. It was getting harder and harder to control. And when she saw the opportunity to escape, she made the selfish choice to take it and to take Cora, Dawson, and Callan first before attempting to take her own life.
Okay. Guys, hi. If you are new here, we know that there are certain circumstances in which you think to yourself, yes, I am in financial ruin. There are motives, and you don't need a motive. You never need to have a motive. But to say that Lindsay Clancy did not like her life, you will learn, counselor, that she did, that she loved her life. And although we are overwhelmed at times, and although you are to the point where you are sleep deprived, you are in a psychosis, pre-homicidal psychosis, but when you are sitting there and you are the exhaustion of being a parent, the exhaustion of every day, no days off, okay? Plus I have a full-time career. Plus I have, and God love your husband, God love your mother and father, but the brunt for Lindsay was on her shoulders. And when she started to feel unbalanced, you think she's going to be like, I would love to talk about all of this in detail with everyone, because I think I'm crazy and I think you're going to think I'm crazy. No, there is shame. There is guilt. And every mother has felt it since the beginning of fucking time. I would like to say, since I think the 1980s was where it really started, though, because like at least back in like when Nana Phyllis was young and she had her kids, like she managed the house. And I know that that's probably not a progressive thing to say, but it's like if you're working all the time and then you come home and you have your next full-time job that actually is not a full-time job, it's a 24-hour job, it's a little bit of slave labor. And then you are supposed to go out, pay all the bills. You are also supposed to take care of the children. You are supposed to take them to all of their doctor's appointments, to their sporting events. And it is like, how are you all doing this? I feel ill-equipped. And then you have on top of it, hormone fluctuations, resistant depression, and postpartum depression that turns into allegedly postpartum psychosis. I can't wait to hear from the experts.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a public debate about women's mental health and how the medical system treats women. This case is about this defendant, Lindsay Clancy. There is no dispute that she was dealing with mental health issues during this time period prior to the murders. There'll be medical records, medical doctors, mental health professionals that will talk about treatment, prescriptions, hospital visits. All that's going to be before you. The evidence will show that this defendant had a means and access to mental health that most people don't. And she chose to deal with her mental health issues in the worst way. She chose to manipulate her providers, seek out the quick and easy fix when she was feeling depressed and anxious. And when she didn't get what she expected, she chose an alternate route. She sought a different doctor. He changed medications after days. She disengaged from treatment when she didn't like the plan.
Wait a minute. Are you accusing Lindsay Clancy of doctor shopping? Was she trying to get like I don't know, Dilaudid or Xanax? Like, what are you saying? She was on a benzodiazepine. She was on an antipsychotic. You don't think that those medications have impacts that you can feel? An antidepressant can take 6 to 8 weeks, but when you're on an antipsychotic, baby, good luck. Good luck.
After only 4 months in treatment, she made a choice, a deliberate and intentional decision that she did not want to try anymore. And because no one could take care of her kids the way she wanted them to, she had to take them with her. Despite all the precision that she exhibited that day, you'll hear, the timing of it all, the swiftness of the killings, overcoming the interruption of Patrick's phone call, what she did not anticipate was that she would not be able to complete the act by killing herself. Ladies and gentlemen, people with mental illness commit crimes every day and are responsible for them. The fact that someone may suffer or have a mental illness, a mental disease or defect is not the end of the inquiry when it comes to guilt or innocence. It is whether a person can appreciate the wrongfulness or criminality of the conduct and conform their conduct to the law.
Correct. So we know, if anybody followed the Chesna trial, it was a police officer that was killed in the line of duty by Emmanuel Lopes. It was a terrible case. It was actually Judge Beverly Cannoni and Cindy Chesna, his wife. God bless her. I remember her in the courtroom and all the police officers. He was from Weymouth. Emmanuel Lopes had a very extensive psychiatric history. However, they were unable to establish that he did not know right from wrong or that he was not in the right state of mind. And you have to establish that for the elements to be convicted. So I think this is a very different case. We absolutely know that you know, having mental health concerns, 1 in 2 of us do, okay? 1 in 2 have anxiety, depression. Like, get over yourself, ma'am. That is clearly not a reason for criminal behavior to occur. But if you are not able to be within a linear thought process of what you are committing and that what you are doing is not actually following, like, go to God, baby. Like, if they can prove that she went into a psychosis just like that, it can be a minute when you're hearing a command voice telling you to do something, and you do it because you believe it's going to save your children, not hurt them. I know. It's a lot. We'll breathe.
Do they know what they were doing, and can they control their actions? The evidence in this case will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this defendant coldly and efficiently executed first Dawson, then Cora, and
Watch this now, babes. Here's where I fucking shine, and you know I do. Listen to me. Okay. Watch Lindsay. I'm going to make her big. I'm going to put me small. I want you to see her eyes, and I want you to see like a nystagmus, okay? That is going to happen as this prosecutor is going over the crime and the camera is on Lindsay. This is an actual, in my opinion, that she is like flashing back to whatever it is that she has made in her mind that was. That like of that story. She is trying to find it. Watch.
And finally, Callan. One by one, she strangled the life out of each one of them. She did so with no hesitation, with deliberate premeditation, and extreme atrocity and cruelty. She is criminally responsible for the murders because the evidence will prove to you that she knew exactly what she was doing. She drew her husband out of the house, their father, so that she had the opportunity and the time to carry out these murders. She maintained the ability to control her conduct, conform her conduct, when she attempted to kill herself to escape the consequences. At the conclusion of this case, we're going to come back and we're going to ask that you return guilty of the murders of Cora Clancy, Dawson Clancy, and Callan Clancy, because the defendant committed those crimes.
No.
All right, thank you, counsel. Mr. Reddington, do you wish to give an opening?
I do.
What do you grade this, guys? What do you think? What do you believe the Commonwealth did? Do you think give them an A through an F? And then I'll tell you what I think they were. I wrote it down so you can't say, oh, Kim just thought she'd go with what everyone else said. Yep. Oh my God, D minus, F minus, D, F. Okay, I said F minus because, and then F minus, C minus, I said, because I thought they didn't hit the parts that would have been helpful to their case. It was too broad for me. It was very generalized. And if 1 and 2, if you have 18 jurors sitting on that panel, statistically, 9 of them have a mental health diagnosis themselves. Okay. So when you're talking reckless, I would have really firmed it up or tightened it up rather, to what they can prove and what they can't. And you don't need to add the spice, in my opinion. Now, Reddington, on the other hand, all of it. Go, Mr. Reddington. Find the podium king.
But in this case, God bless you. You people are going to have to listen to some of the most horrific things. Look at some of the most horrific things. In jurors, it's a beautiful system. You pass between, as you heard Don Clerk say, you probably don't remember it, but it's old language, it goes back to Old England. It says that you as jurors pass between the government then. And she places herself on her country, which country you are. You owe allegiance to nothing but your oath, your consideration, and your time, your common sense. You bring your life experience to this trial. You render a verdict. And as jurors, experiences.
I like that he was going through hey guys, this is going to be gut wrenching. And you have to I think there was no other way for him to open, was with the horror of it all. But to also remember that the elements must be met and to keep an open mind and to bring your life experience.
Take your job very, very, very seriously. You people will never forget this case. And thank you for that service. The government says that this is a situation, it's not a referendum on women's having babies and having postpartum psychosis, postpartum depression, but it sure as hell is. Because you're going to hear, consistent with what is told you in the instructions, consistent with the obligation that the government has when they brought this charge. Tim Cruz, the DA, right in the front row, brought this charge. He knew, as did his office, the facts of this case.
That is huge. That is huge. I did see that. I saw that order. Or that filing rather, Karen, thank you for bringing it up. So just so that you know, babes, you can't say the prosecution, it was ballsy of Buckingham, of what the buck, to say that it was Dawson first, Cora second, and baby Callan third, because that has to be proven. You know what I mean? That really was out of bounds. And that probably stood out with the jurors rather.
And he knew when he brought this charge that it was going to kill the soul of this young woman. And they would bring their evidence in front of a jury that she knows that she killed these children. We'll sit here, listen to their evidence.
Watch your eyes.
But I suggest to you that the issue for consideration is what was going on in that woman's mind. You're going to hear evidence that, as the government said, Lindsay was a kind of a parent pleaser. She was a person that in school had a lot of friends, still has friends. You'll hear evidence to this day from the 6th grade. High school, college, nursing school. You're going to hear evidence.
Oh, I'm sorry. She was a type A, over successful woman who was burdened by societal pressures and her mental health limitations after years and years of like taking all of it on your shoulders. Yeah. Oh.
But there are videos that show what that home looked like that day, prior to that. You'll see in every room. There are things hanging on the walls, alphabets, colors, numbers, pictures of different cartoon characters, and I'm too old to even remember what they are. Movies, all sorts of toys, erector sets.
Her life revolved around those children. Thank you, Mr.
In this
Reddington.
courtroom, but he will testify to what they went through as a husband and a wife.
Oh.
The wife being pregnant. They had 3 kids. After the second child, she had postpartum. You're going to hear evidence that that's one of the issues that is important because that could lead to bipolar. One of the things.
We're going to go through day 3. Just let me do it. I wanted to give Mr. Reddington just his time, and then I'm going to the today's, okay? I promise. Well, we're going to do one thing on Patrick because I can't, but I'm doing one thing, and then we're doing all the paramedics. Sorry.
That you don't do, which is taboo, is if you have somebody that's bipolar, you don't put them on an antidepressant, you don't put them on Zoloft, you don't put them on what's called an SSRI.
Ooh.
Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. It messes with your brain.
Yep.
You don't do that, but it was done in this case. The reason that Lindsay went to the doctors was in September of 2022. July and August of 2022, they were very happy. Lovely little family.
Oh, what am I hearing?
Things went sideways. Up the mirror. This is no fake suicide. This is her when she was brought to the hospital. When she was in the hospital. That's what her appearance was at the South Shore Hospital. When she's at the South Shore Hospital.
Okay, we're going to just go through. Ooh. Sorry.
Shattered. Her cervical spine, the first disc. Paralyzed for the rest of her life. She's living her own hell.
Okay, listen, you're going to hear also moving forward. Sorry, that was a lot. Sorry, trigger warning, guys. You're going to hear the prosecution be like, Lindsay had superficial wounds to bilateral wrists and her throat. And then you hear Kevin Reddington being like, JK, LMNOP, she actually a cervical spine, her C-spine. Okay, so that's deep. Okay, FYI.
She knows what happened with those kids, and she wanted to die. When she was in the hospital, you're going to see evidence. Brigham and Women's Hospital, when they transferred her from South Shore Hospital, air flight, into Brigham and Women's Hospital, and she was then given the emergency room, the emergency treatment at the Brigham and Women's Hospital. You couldn't move in that room. There was so much equipment, so many wires, so many breathing tubes, so many machines, humming, banging, clicking. I heard voices. I heard command hallucinations telling me to kill the kids and then kill myself. After she talked to Paul Zeisel, as if he was telling her what to say because I'm the lawyer and I brought him into that hospital. You're going to hear evidence that Paul Zeisel is one of the most respected psychologists. You're going to hear easy to manipulate. There's no fake suicide. And there was no plan to fake her sickness.
There it is.
This is a young woman that, with her husband, tried very hard to get the help she needed. She went and saw a doctor by the name of, oh, by the way, remember in the opening, the government says she shopped around for doctors, I guess, that she wanted to get doctors to, I don't know, give her drugs or something. You can hear evidence that.
Okay, can we tell that like Kevin Reddington is like an old school, like he's an old Boston guy, and he's like, yeah, so what did she want? She wanted drugs? Is that what he's saying? Is that what the government's saying? I can't.
She went online and she looked for someone that was into neonatal or post-baby delivery because she knew that she was in trouble.
Mhm.
She couldn't sleep. She had insomnia. It wasn't just, when you get up in the middle of the night because your phone's on. She couldn't sleep. She only got 2 hours a night, 3 hours a night if she's lucky. As time went on.
That'll make you psycho. That alone will make you that you can go into a psychosis. Everyone knows that, right? If you get under like 4 hours or 5 hours, is it 4 hours? I know there's like a threshold, and that you really can go into a psychosis.
September, she went to see Dr. Tufts. Jennifer Tufts was the name of the doctor. Jennifer Tufts then gave her a prescription for Zoloft, which is a antidepressant. It's one of those SSRIs. She didn't take the Zoloft for a couple of weeks because she was breastfeeding. She was afraid to have the baby have anything to do with drugs, but ultimately couldn't do it any longer, took the Zoloft and was spun out of control. Oh, because you didn't hear evidence because she was bipolar. You don't give a bipolar person Zoloft. But
Ever.
she got it. You're going to see what the effect was that it had on her as that week went on, as that month drove on, and she couldn't sleep, and she was unable to emote, had no emotions, had no feelings, was unable to really react to anything, but had to take care of the kids. And as the government says, well, she was able to talk to people. She was able to talk to neighbors. Sure, you're going to hear because they don't call them, we're going to call them. People that knew Lindsay as a mother, people that knew Lindsay, teachers of those kids will indicate what kind of a mother she was, as will neighbors, as will friends, as will people that saw her during that period of time. You're going to hear evidence from Patrick as to the effect that this sickness had on her. She was looking into it. You're going to see her Google searches. You're going to see her Google searches go on and on and on about how to take care of postpartum. What type of drugs? Can you become addicted to benzodiazepines? What about,
yes,
is it possible to have a treatment, a ketamine treatment? What do I do as far as insomnia? What do I do about my thoughts to kill myself? Ways to kill. How do you kill? What do you do to kill? Government lashes onto that. Oh my God, she's looking up ways to kill. Let's make that a basis of our prosecution on this case. This is not a righteous prosecution. They're looking for every single piece of evidence that they can to show some ridiculous concept that she wanted to kill her beautiful kids because she didn't want to be a mother anymore. This is a woman that was a nurse. She worked for one of the best hospitals in the country. She was in labor delivery. You're going to hear from labor and delivery nurses that will tell you how dedicated she was. Cora was named after the very, very first baby that she delivered as a nurse in the hospital. That's where the name Cora came from. Cora was named after her first delivery. This is a woman who did nothing in her life but dedicated her life to helping people and be a good person and a good nurse and a great mom. And as time went on, looking like anyone else would, please help me. That's what it's all about. Give me help. And people consider the government will say, God, she was able to talk to people. She wasn't drooling. She wasn't putting tin foil inside of a hat when she was going to the schools. No, she was able to talk to people. We actually have, we meaning the government, we have video.
Quick question. So if you have wounds that are seen or unseen, that is what we talk about in mental health, right? Is you can't see the injury. When if I break my leg, I break my arm, I have a cut, you can see it. When you're struggling and you are filled with shame and guilt and fear, in fear of what it means if you admit it, how that'll be, especially as a registered nurse, her being like, this is going to be in my medical record. I'm a mother, for Christ's sake. I can't say that I'm dropping my basket in front of the world. That's guilt and shame, babe. And Patrick knew enough to be by her side and say, Mayday, we have problems.
Of her and Patrick and the kids at the Museum of Science, and they were actually having a good time. We also have video that shows them down at Cape Cod, down the Cape, with the kids, and they're in bathing suits. I guess she was fine. She put on a pretty good face. So what does she do? She goes to see, September 12th of 22, she looked for a psychiatrist. That's when she hooks up, if you will, with Dr. Jennifer Tufts, early October of 22, initial appointment. October 20th of 22, reports the adverse reaction that she was having to the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor Zoloft. November 16th, she goes to the South Shore Hospital emergency room because she was so depressed and so maxed out from lack of sleep and so unable to emote. She couldn't laugh, she couldn't cry, she couldn't have any feelings. She was a robot. She went to socio.
That timeline is going to be the most powerful thing, I think, that Mr. Reddington puts forward, because it shows how many attempts were made to help Lindsay. This wasn't something that was just, swept under the rug, or that she put on a bright and smiling face and that she was showing up to life every day. She got to points where she said, please help me. Someone please help me, multiple times and in multiple different settings. And she wasn't better. And they discharged her to home.
Hospital. She was referred and engaged with South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Health. This was Patrick's mother. This is Patrick's mother, Mrs. Clancy, who's a nurse, well-respected nurse, wonderful woman. She works at the South Shore Hospital, labor and delivery as well. She knows Lindsay. And she told Lindsay, you got to go to this outfit here, which was the South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Health. She didn't look them up because she wanted to get drugs. She was referred by her mother-in-law, who's a nurse.
Yes.
She went to see these people, November 21st of 22. When she was engaged at the South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Health, she's going on one drug to the next to the next. The drugs that she was prescribed, you see here, and you'll hear evidence that, first off, Jennifer Tufts, September 15th, 22, sertraline, that's the Zoloft. Then lorazepam, October 21st, Jennifer Tufts. Then hydroxyzine, Jennifer Tufts. Lorazepam, Jennifer Tufts. Buspirone, Jennifer Tufts. Lorazepam increase, Jennifer Tufts. Buspirone increase from 1 milligram to 5 milligrams, Jennifer Tufts. Trazodone from another individual. Fluoxetine, 10 milligrams from another person named Julie Paul. Julie Paul worked at the South Shore Hospital when she went there to go to try to get some help from South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Health. More medications, spiraling, continuing on down. Pat lived this, and he will testify to what they went through. At this point, at the end of November, around Thanksgiving, she's reporting disassociation and confusion. They put her on Remeron. This is around Thanksgiving. Things were so bad at this point that her mother and father came up from Connecticut and lived with them to take care of the kids, to help, because she was walking around absolutely a zombie. She would rock on the sofa, crying hysterically, banging her head into the pillow of the sofa. Patrick will tell you what he observed with her.
You realize also, guys, that that's an insane amount of psych medications in 2 months. Like, for somebody who was not on, like, you can have changes. You can have a doctor do a flush, and try to start again if you have had some sort of adverse reaction. But A, you don't cold turkey any SSRI. B, adding the trazodone, adding the multiple benzos, it was a recipe for disaster. This is a 32-year-old mother of 3. And she asked for the quick and easy way out. I don't know how you get to that conclusion. The providers went for the easy way out.
She dealt with her parents. Her parents were there to try to help. Is this someone that's faking because she doesn't want to be a mother anymore? The parents were there. Mother and father, wonderful people. Mother's retired. Dad took pictures of high school kids for yearbooks. They did what they could. Coming into December, after Thanksgiving, and they went, by the way, during the holidays, down to Connecticut at one point to visit with the family. But December 4th, she calls a suicide hotline seeking help. December 5th, she's evaluated by what's known as the Aspire Crisis Team. You'll hear evidence about that. December 6th, the next day, they have an...
Oh, I didn't know she was seen by Crisis. Interesting. Okay, so we have crisis teams that come out and eval if you are a risk to yourself or others. Note, Sarcastic Sam, would there have been a pharmacy consult? Yes, likely. But if the interactions, all the pharmacists can do, sidebar, maybe you don't, oh, babes, maybe you don't actually know this. A pharmacist can say, hey, there's an interaction. It goes from, like, you have a yellow to a red flag. And then, like, there's a actual stop sign that you will see if it comes up that there's this, like, a life-threatening interaction. But if there is no drug-to-drug interaction that is, like, life-threatening or cannot be mixed, and that's very few, like a lot of things have severe interactions with each other, and doctors push it through because they're able to. The pharmacist goes, "Hi, doc, they've got a drug to drug on, whatever 2 meds," and he'll go, "Fill it," and they press override. I don't know if you know that. I'm sure maybe you do. I'm sorry, I'm not being condescending.
Appointment with Nurse Gelada. Now, Nurse Gelada comes into this action because, again, not looking for more doctors. Paul retired or left or went to another job. So all of a sudden, Nurse Paul, who was treating her and prescribing meds, leaves. Here's Nurse Gelada. She's now going to be your person you deal with. That's all. She wasn't looking for some other doctors to get additional medication. She now is dealing with Gelada. They have an appointment with Nurse Gelada. And Pat goes with her because he was so upset and says to Gelada, "You'll hear evidence. Do you think possibly that she's over-medicated? Do you think somebody screwed up?" And she says, "It's possible." And then she puts her on more medication. She puts her on, December of 2022, you're going to see that Nurse Gelada, who is now on this chart, is in blue. Nurse Gelada puts her on quetiapine, 25 milligrams. November 30th, December 6th, diazepam 5. December 7th, diazepam. December 7th, quetiapine. December 9th, diazepam 5. December 13th, diazepam. And then she goes back to Jennifer Tufts.
Reddington should have really stayed on that quetiapine. That is actually it's the generic name for Seroquel. And Seroquel is an antipsychotic, guys. That is wild. That you went from an antidepressant and atypicals for it, and benzos for anxiety and for probably sleep, and then the trazodone for sleep, and then you're back to the Zoloft. But then when you put her on fucking Seroquel, what? For what? I feel like that was the devil's playground when they added in the antipsychotic and the inappropriate prescription of an SSRI to a bipolar 2.
Because they just couldn't handle dealing with Rebecca Gelada because she wanted to wean off the drugs. Gelada told her to stay the course. She ends up going through the December 19th, 21st, 22nd, dealing with quetiapine, 300 milligrams of quetiapine. Now, what happens is they then suggest that what she has to do is go to...
Hi, babes. Hi. That's a tranquilizer that would send an elephant to sleep. The fact that she did not go to bed on 300, never been on it before. I'm going to tell you a little story, okay? There was once a time where a younger person was prescribed Seroquel, 250 pounds, a man, and he was in his late 20s. He's a family member. It's not weird. And it was 12.5 milligrams, and he slept for 3 days. So if your body, facts matter, pharmaceuticals, okay? You put a young, thin mother on a cocktail of medication that the side effects alone would tell you was an absolute nightmare waiting to happen. And that was all under the care of specialists who threw another pill instead of doing additional testing to find out what the diagnosis really was, without protecting her and her children and Patrick.
Mass General Hospital. She goes to Mass General Hospital. At Mass General, they say, well, you can do like a day program, or you can go to this fantastic program down in Rhode Island called Women and Infants Program. So she goes to Women and Infants Program. She goes down for a day. She sits there in a group with other mothers, and they talk. And they look at her medication, and they say, you're going to see it in the medical records. We can't really help you as postpartum, and that's what they specialize in, because you've got medications that you're going to have to clear, because the medications can be affecting you. She was there for a day, one day. They never said anything. You're not suffering from postpartum. Postpartum, every one of these doctors and nurses knew that she was suffering from postpartum. And now it's turning into psychosis. Now as she goes through the period of time, in January 5, Aliyah Goodhart from McLean Hospital, puts on trazodone, 50 milligrams, lorazepam, 1 milligram, leaving the hospital.
1
She goes to the
milligram?
hospital on New Year's Eve. She and Patrick decide this is it. The two of them get in their car. Family takes care of the kids. She goes to the hospital. Now it's locked wards. She goes into the hospital. She's there for 4 days. During that period of time that she's there, she's in group. She doesn't see a doctor but once. There's no discussion of medications till the very end. You'll see the medical records. If you look at the medical records, you'll see that her daughter's birthday was coming up and she wanted to leave rather than the 5th on the 4th. This is not a discharge against medical advice. They cleared it. They said, yeah, fine, you're okay, good. Good luck, go home. She went home.
Do you understand? This is huge, huge, because I didn't know this, babes, until we watched opening statements, rather. She was discharged. I didn't know I knew that she wanted to leave because it was her Cora's birthday coming up, but I did not know that she was medically cleared. And also, I did know that while she was at McLean's in a psychiatric locked fucking unit, voluntarily admitted, no Section 12 here, she ends up seeing a doctor one time and they don't do anything for the med management. McLean's is supposed to be quite literally the gold standard of care in our country. And yet we had a mother who checked herself in because of a fear. Once you're sitting there and you go, holy shit, like, you know, going into a psych hospital is very specific. Very certain people can handle it. And for her not to get the help, you must have felt like, as a medical professional, she was like, I am so fucked that not even McLean's can fix me. What am I going to do? And she goes home and says, I'm going to have to figure it out on my own. And with Patrick.
Home, and she went to the birthday party. The government will have witnesses apparently to show that she was able to socialize, like, hi, how are you, at the trampoline where they had the birthday party for Cora. She's still living her nightmare. During this period of time, January 9th, back to Jennifer Tufts, puts her on diazepam. Jennifer Tufts kicks up the trazodone to 150 milligrams. January 13th, you've got Rebecca Jawada, puts her on diazepam. And by the way, when she was down at Rhode Island in the nurse and babies hospital, not a hospital, it was like a service, the people that were treating her for that one day reached out to Jawada to find out what's up with the medication. Jawada never called them back. You're going to hear evidence, and it's in the medical records, that when she and Patrick called Jawada to say, I got to wean off this. She didn't want more drugs. She wanted off the drugs. Jawada says, stay the course. She's going on vacation. I'll see you in a week. Comes back in a week. You're going to see that now Jennifer Tufts puts her on diazepam 2 milligrams on January 16th. Amitriptyline 10 milligrams, January 16th. Diazepam and diazepam between Tufts and Jawada. The last script is diazepam 2 milligrams, January 23rd.
January 23rd. She had medication changes up until the day before the unaliving of her 3 children. It's truly unimaginable.
During that period of time, you can see that on December 20th and 22nd, she was evaluated at the Women's and Infants Partial Hospitalization Program in Rhode Island. December 30th, she returned to Mass General Hospital emergency room. December 31st, that's after Mass General told her to go to the hospital and go to McLean. New Year's Eve, December 20th of 22, they were admitted to McLean Hospital for psychiatric treatment. January 6th of 23 was post-discharge follow-up appointment with Dr. Tufts. January 10, 16, and 23, appointment Dr. Tufts, Dr. Tufts, Dr. Tufts. Day before the killings, Dr. Tufts. These are the medications that she was on, that she had filled, that she took, that she didn't take, and apparently, according to the opening statement by the government, was manipulating the doctors, not telling the doctors. She told them that she was suicidal. She told them that she had suicidal ideation, and in December,
Trigger warning.
In her
Trigger warning.
ever dying regret, told Patrick in the presence of her mother that she was having psychosis thoughts of hurting the children. This is a woman that did not get the medication, did not get the medical treatment that she so deserved. This is a woman that was suffering from psychosis at the time that she went down to that basement. She had no motive. She loved her children. She intended to kill herself. She didn't fake that. Threw herself out the window. Goes to the hospital. You're going to see that when she's in the hospital, they said to her, "You want to, what do you call it, a DNR? Do not resuscitate her." With her. Absolutely did not want any DNR.
And
didn't
she
want to be resuscitated, wanted to die. To this day wants to die. That's.
hear that. Can you hear that? So for a 32-year-old that's paralyzed from the waist down, there really wouldn't be a need to have a DNR. But if she blew a clot or if she had a cardiac event, absolutely. Saying you want to be a DNR at 32 is wild. And Mr. Reddington saying she still wants to die. She's in prison already. And death would be easier than waking up every day.
What we're dealing with on this prosecution. So you're going to hear from witnesses. It's going to be emotional. And thank you for your service.
Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Okay. What did you think? Give me a Reddington. What did we think of his opening? I have it already written down. What I gave him. He's unconventional, but persuasive. He hit the points. He's talking to you, not at you. I like it. If I was a juror, I'd be like, "Oh, I hear you. He's telling us he's telling us all the shit." Yes. Yes, I agree. I thought he was an A. A all day. Good. Okay. All right. We're on the same page, babes. Okay. So that's powerful. It's palpable. The visual aids are necessary. Now, Patrick Clancy did a lot of testimony, and we don't have it in us to go through it all because it would take us days. And out of respect for him, I just want you to know that he loves his children very much. He loved Lindsay. He loves Lindsay still, I think. And he knew his wife was sick. And he tried to help. And someone asked in the chat, do you think that he threw her under the bus when he said, when I called her from CVS, it sounded like she was in the middle of something? No, I don't think he threw her under the bus at all. And we will hear from either Lindsay's psychiatrist or the experts that come in. You're going to find out, when did she hear that voice? Was it after the call or was it before? And I'll tell you what, if it's before the call, that's where they're going to say there's premeditation. So this is where we keep it a buck. If she's able to have, if you're hearing command hallucinations and doing what you did, and it can happen in a split second. I'm not saying it can't, but it would be hard for me to understand that before she was through with the final act of leaping from the window, that she'd be able to have that conversation with Patrick, in my opinion. So with that being said, if it's after the call, if she was like, and she's in the middle of something, what could that have, what? Could it have been that she was cleaning up like where the kids were? Was she taking them down? I don't know. I don't know. But I think it was just what he was saying. And it was 14 seconds. How do you know somebody's been in the middle of something in a 14-second phone call where she said, yeah, that's fine. Also, sidebar. If you want to unalive your children, your beautiful babies, and you are plotting this, you had gone to the doctor's appointment for Cora, and Cora was having some constipation. And the recommendation was for her to have a Pedialyte. They got the Pedialyte. She called the fucking CVS to make sure it was in stock for Patrick to go. One might assume she was planning to give Pedialyte to said child, in my opinion.
Record.
My name is Stephen Hall.
Okay, this heartbreaking today, guys. Now, day 3. Patrick, God bless you. I can't watch Patrick because I cry. There was so much, guys. There is so much. His testimony it's palpable. His heartbreak is palpable. Lindsay starts crying when he's and then you hear the 911 call. We're not listening to it because I can't listen. I heard it one time. I'll never hear it again. This is really one of the hardest things I've heard in any case I've covered. And then it pulls on my heartstrings on like, what is the right thing for those kids? But you got to go by the law. Okay. So this man, we're going to watch him. He's everything.
STEPHENHALL.
Thanks,
And your date of birth.
3/26/1983.
Where do you work?
I work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been a Duxbury police officer?
Since 2015, so roughly 11 years.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
I was.
What shift were you working?
The 4 to midnight.
And would that be 4 p.m. to midnight?
Yes.
And were you in uniform?
Yes.
Were you in a marked cruiser?
Yes.
And were you on patrol?
Yes.
And being on patrol, were you alone or with a partner?
I was alone.
Further directing your attention to approximately 6:11.
Ew, I always wonder, like, is this really foundation? No, it isn't. Shut up. Like, it is. I get it. But what the buck?
I do.
Could you point to her?
No issue with ID.
Record may reflect.
And where were her feet?
Ooh, okay, gotta go.
Where the defendant.
Oh, I don't know if I want to. All right. Sorry, guys. Trigger warning. Oh, I don't know. All right.
Showing you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 38. Is this the back of the house?
It is.
And showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 37. Do you see the area where the defendant was when you entered the backyard?
Yes.
Mind standing up with court permission and just pointing that out to the jurors?
So in this area.
And if the record could reflect, he's pointing near the window well to the far right side.
That's where Lindsay was found.
You saw them?
No, they were not.
When you saw the cuts to her, you carry equipment with you in case you have to provide first aid to someone?
Yes.
When you saw the defendant on the ground, did you go to her and observe any injuries?
She had cuts to both wrists and to the left side of her neck.
The cuts to her wrists, were those actively bleeding when you saw them?
No, they were not.
When you saw the cut.
Guys, we have another situation because we have another paramedic that says, yes, they were actively bleeding. They were not like squirting blood. Want to know why? Because she didn't hit an artery. You need to hit an artery, whether it's your carotid or your femoral. That's when we have the need for tourniquet and that expel. Otherwise, yes, you would be bleeding. but not to a point that required a tourniquet. So there's differing testimony.
Cuts to her neck, were those actively bleeding?
No.
Did you, based on your training and experience, feel the need to provide any medical care to those cuts or use any of the equipment you had to tend to those cuts?
Not at that time.
Was she conscious?
Semi-conscious, in and out of consciousness.
And what was she doing that gave you that indication?
She would wake up and move around and then kind of just go still again.
And when you say she would move around, what parts of her body was she moving?
Just her head, really.
Oh, so not faking, just a reminder. Also, Patrick Clancy said that she said one thing to him, and that it was that she tried to unalive herself and that the kids are in the basement.
Was she able to speak to you?
She wasn't, no.
Was she making any sounds?
She was just like, sounded like she was in pain.
So something like moaning or something like that?
Yes.
While you and Officer Josephine are there, do other first responders, such as firefighters, start to arrive?
Yes, they started to arrive, and I went to the to gate to direct them where to go.
And how did you know they had arrived?
You could hear the sirens.
So you heard the sirens and went to the gate to tell them to come to that side?
Correct.
While you were doing...
Look at him going back. Look at his face. He's going back. He's remembering everything.
This, did Patrick Clancy stay with you?
At one point, he went inside to say he was going to check on his children.
And did you see what entrance he used to go into the house?
He went towards the backslider.
Oh. Shortly after Patrick Clancy went inside the home, did you receive a call on your radio?
Yes.
And what did you hear on your radio?
Dispatch said that he couldn't wake them up.
And did you know what they were talking about when you initially heard that?
Not really, no.
Did something then catch your attention?
Yeah, I heard a loud scream from inside.
And could you tell where it was coming from?
Just inside the house.
And the screaming, was it words or just sound?
It was just a sound.
When you heard that screaming, what did you do?
Myself and Officer Josephine ran towards the slider and entered into the house.
And when you entered into the house, do you remember what room you entered into?
Into a kitchen.
And when you entered into the kitchen, could you still hear that screaming?
No. We could hear he was talking, but the screaming was done.
When you said he was talking, who was talking?
Patrick Clancy.
So you could hear Patrick Clancy talking at that time?
Yes.
And could you tell where he was?
Yes, he was in the basement.
And did you head to the basement stairs?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 41. Are these the stairs that you went to?
Yes.
Did you go to the bottom of the stairs?
I did.
Once you got to the bottom of the stairs, is it accurate that you either have to go right or left?
Correct.
Which direction did you go?
We heard Patrick Clancy talking from the right, so we went in that direction.
Could you hear what he was saying?
Do you mind if I?
You don't recall?
Yes.
I have no objection to that. We need to revote on that one with Mr. Ford.
Do you recall him saying, I can't wake them up, I can't get them up?
Yes.
And do you remember his demeanor as he was saying that?
He seemed very upset.
What did you do in response to that?
He came from a back room, so we ran into that back room.
Just going back to when you came down the stairs and turned to the right, do you recall what type of room that was when you went to the right?
It looks like a workout room, a workout area.
I'm going to show you your pictures here. If you could just look at them and tell me if you recognize what they depict.
Yeah, we're not doing pictures.
I did.
And what did you see when you got to that back room?
No.
Exhibit 93.
No.
If you wouldn't mind just pointing out where you saw his body.
Nope. He then goes into detail of where he found the children and the positions that they were in. And we're not doing that here. But you can physically see on Stephen that he is traumatized. traumatized from this episode. And anyone who was on that scene, God bless them, because there is not enough like post care for you to be all right after you come upon a scene like that. I don't know.
Sir, did you later learn that child's name was Dawson Clancy?
I did.
And can you describe his physical appearance?
No.
Did you do anything after that, after giving Dawson to EMTs?
We ran back down into the basement to check to see if we could find other children.
And what made you think there were other children to find?
When Patrick Clancy said, like, I can't wake them up instead of just a singular.
And so...
Should I agree to the photographs? No.
Oh my God. He's been shown other crime scene evidence and photos. Like, that's the toll, babes. That's the human toll. See it? That's it. That's the human toll. You know, only one time in my whole entire life have I had to do a code on a child. And I knew I was never going to do pediatrics. I was like, no, nope. No, can't do it. I've seen a lot of really scary things in my day. I found patients unalived in their homes, but a child? No. And it takes special people that are able to bounce back. You still show up for work. You have to. But look at him. He's right back there. Your body keeps the score. Always.
Exhibits 95 to 102 mark.
Thank you.
Sure. They're showing you
Too
what's been
much.
marked as exhibit 95.
No more exhibits.
EMTs and paramedics were working on them.
And did you later learn that those children were Cora Clancy and Callan Clancy?
Yes.
Did you do anything to assist the medics at that time?
Excuse me. I asked if they needed any equipment.
And did they ask you to get some equipment?
They asked me to grab a heart monitor.
And did you do that?
I went and found the fire captain to ask where I could grab one, and he was pretty upset. So I ended up going back downstairs into the basement.
At some point in time, actually, if I could show you exhibit 96 again and just ask if you could point to us where you...
Why are we saying, can I show this to you again? Jesus, what the buck are we doing here? Do you see this man? This man is like, no, please, God, no.
You saw each child.
Okay.
Oh, no.
At some point in time, did you go back outside?
Yes, they stated they need an officer with Lindsay Clancy.
And I'm going to show you a photo here outside near that window well. That's
Don't care.
while you were out there with the defendant, were medical staff, paramedics treating her?
Yes.
And did you happen to look up?
Yes, I did.
What did you see when you looked up?
There was an open window with blood marks around the window.
And did you also see blood marks on the shingles below that window?
I did.
Showing you a photograph.
Nope.
Here. Marked as the next exhibits.
They may be admitted.
So so much unnecessary, in my opinion, with the gore and the trauma. The point of them asking and bringing up the shingles, babes, is because they're saying that there was like a theory that Lindsay really, as the devious woman she is, hung from the window and then just dropped. She gingerly dropped. Well, I want to fucking tell you something. Let me do a little one-on-one with what the buck here, okay? If I gingerly dropped from a second story window, I wouldn't be paralyzed. Facts matter, anatomy and physiology.
While you were out there in the backyard, did you see a ripped or, oh, I'm sorry. 105 to 108.
Mm-hmm.
While you were outside, did you see any ripped or torn screens on the ground?
No.
What did you do next?
I just went over to the paramedic, asked what I can help him with. He said she was good, but she kept taking her face mask off for oxygen, and so I just kept replacing it back onto her face.
And when you say she, are you referring to Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
And did you then help them get the stretcher to the ambulance?
Yes.
I have nothing further.
Next. All right. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, oh my gosh, if this big guy is going to say that, like, I know that it's going to keep getting more difficult. So here's next.
All right, counsel.
Thank you. Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Brian, B-R-I-A-N, Josephine, J-O-S-E-P-H-I-N-E.
And what's your date of birth, sir?
June 13th, 1990.
And where do you work?
I work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been a police officer?
I started there in April of 2020.
And did you work for the Plymouth Police before that?
Yes, I did.
And how long did you do that?
Almost 5 years.
What is your current role?
I am patrol officer.
Back in January of 20.
All right. Thank you, Brian Josephine. I appreciate it. We don't need your whole bio.
Yes, it is.
And was the door locked or unlocked?
I believe.
So showing you exhibit 33, again, you went by these cars and around the house to the right.
Yes, that's correct.
He arrives. He's back up.
And showing you exhibit 37. Does that mean that you would have been coming around the house over here by the garage on the left and in the porch, the deck?
Yes, that's correct.
And when you came around there, what did you see?
I made my way. I observed two parties, one lying in the ground and one standing over it. And I started making my way towards the other end of the house, which is as towards this fence, as you guys can see in reference to that photo.
And so when you say the other end of the house, are you talking about this area here, the furthest right windows?
Yes, that is correct.
And
Is Buck Lally in? She going Buck Lally?
the person that was standing, did you later learn that was Patrick Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And the person on the ground, did you later learn that was Lindsay Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And at some point in time, was Officer Hall also back there with you?
Yes, he came from this side over here, the opposite direction in which I came.
So facing the house, he would have come around the left side of the house if you're facing the house?
Yes, he parked on the street and came from this side, the opposite of where I came from.
Okay. And do you recall what Patrick Clancy was doing when you first saw him?
He was standing over Lindsay at that point. It appeared that he was trying to communicate with her. I observed him with a cell phone. It was kind of down by his side, so I don't know if they were talking or what, but it was probably a split second. And then he turned to my location, saw me because I was illuminating the yard with my flashlight. And then that's when me and him crossed paths.
Okay. And so you said you saw him with his cell phone by his side. Was it in his hand by his side?
Yes, I believe it was in his left hand.
Okay. And you say you crossed paths with him. Approximately where did you cross paths with him?
It was probably
You said a split second.
bulkhead, I would say.
And so in the photograph to the right of the deck is the bulkhead, is that correct?
That is correct.
And
She was hurt where she needed attention, anything.
did you speak to her?
I attempted to.
And what did you say?
I just was trying to get basic information, where she was hurt, where she needed attention, anything I could do to kind of help her until fire arrived.
And did she respond to your questions?
She mumbled, and it wasn't a definitive answer.
Did you observe any injuries?
Yes, she was laying on the ground. There was cuts to her right wrist, I believe, and to the right side of her neck.
And were those cuts actively bleeding at that time?
They were bleeding, but not.
Oh, oh, okay. So we have one saying not, we have one not active bleeding. Now we have a bleeder. Okay. He only recalls though right side, right wrist, and right neck. Different inconsistency, different remembering.
Profusely.
Did you, are you trained in first aid?
Yes.
Did you feel the need to put pressure on those wounds immediately?
No. We also carry medical equipment such as tourniquet, gauze, stuff like that. And I believe due to circumstances that I didn't need to utilize those tools.
And the tourniquet that you carry, is that in case someone has some type of cut where an artery has been damaged or cut?
There we go.
Yes, it is.
Carotid.
And you're trained to
Femoral.
recognize when it's something serious like an artery spraying blood everywhere versus a cut that doesn't need a tourniquet?
Yes, we are.
Okay. And you didn't see the need for a tourniquet?
I did not know.
And based on your training in first aid and as a police officer, as a first responder, did those wounds appear life-threatening?
No, they did not.
Did other emergency personnel from the fire department begin to arrive?
Yes, so I would say I tried to talk to Miss Clancy for probably 30 seconds to a minute. And at that
Oh.
point, coming from that opposite side of the house,
She was a
I
mumble.
observed Duxbury fire personnel show up. And our protocol is to kind of turn the medical over to them because they're more highly trained than we are.
And at some point in time, do you hear something?
Yes.
What do you hear?
Myself and Officer Hall were standing by that window and we just started hearing loud screams.
And what did you do when you heard those loud screams?
We immediately were trying to figure out where they were coming from. I'm not sure if dispatch or something came over the air and said something about the basement, but we both just started making our way back towards the deck part of the house.
Did you go in through the sliding glass doors?
Yes, we went up the deck and through the sliding glass doors into the kitchen.
And did you then head to the basement?
Yes.
And could you hear any sounds coming from the basement as you entered the kitchen?
Yes, it was the exact screaming that I heard from the window.
And did you go down the stairs to the basement?
Yes, we did.
And did you see anything as you went down the stair after you went down the stairs?
So we went down the stairs and there was a picture at the bottom of the stairs, I believe, of Lindsay and Patrick. And the basement splits off into two, a right and a left area. And the screams were coming from the right area. So that's where we directed our attention to first.
And did you see Patrick?
Yes. That right side opens up and it's like two rooms, I believe. So we went into the first room, which was kind of dark and there was some clutter and stuff around, and Patrick was in that back room at the time.
They're showing you it's been marked as Exhibit 90.
No.
Yes, it is.
And
No.
you encountered him?
Upon his observation of us, myself and Officer Hall, he proceeded to head in our direction, leaving that room. And at that point, he looked up and he screamed, "She killed the fucking kids."
And
Okay. So now this is where the Commonwealth is going to hang their hat. And we know that Kevin Reddington, Mr. Reddington, has admitted that absolutely it was Lindsay who took the life of her children. It is if she is legally competent, responsible, and in the right state of mind to know the consequence of what she was doing at the time of the crime. She's admitted, and she'll have to admit it for the rest of her life. Like living with that. Ugh.
after he said that, where did you go?
Once he cleared himself from the door frame, we were able to look inside the room where we observed what appeared to be a child laying motionless on the floor.
Ooh, no.
He was on his back.
Nope.
And in that exhibit,
Headed up to the stairs where Sergeant Homestead was coming down the stairs, and I started yelling to him to get out of the way. Went back up the stairs and then into the kitchen directly adjacent to the stairs. There's the front foyer, like hallway, and I went out the main door into the driveway.
and was there an ambulance in the driveway at that time?
Yes, the ambulance was backing up and had pretty much just parked, and one of the fire was walking around to the stretcher out back. So I rushed over with Dawson and I put him on the stretcher, and that's when Sergeant Homestead and fire personnel started working further on him.
What did you do next?
I went back into the house.
And why did you go back into the house?
I remember hearing something about kids and multiple, and I just went back.
And when you went back in the house, did you go to the basement?
Yes, I went back in that front door, back down to the basement, and this time I went to the left-hand side.
And when you went to the left-hand side of the basement, what did
No.
Site was 2 fire personnel were already on scene. One was working on the baby and one was working on Cora. Communicated with them. We worked together and I took over doing chest compressions of Cora.
And were you able to see any injuries on Cora at that
No,
time?
no,
Yes.
no.
But this time she also had, yes, there was a,
No.
She was older than Dawson.
yes, there was a,
No.
That's Exhibit 97. While you were doing chest compressions on Cora, what was the firefighter doing?
the one that had previously been attending to Cora, then went to the child that was in the corner to get Cora up.
And did others come down to assist?
Yes, Officer Cahill came down to further assist, where I continued with chest compressions, and he used
So
a bag
heavy,
valve mask
man.
to give rescue breaths.
And a bag valve mask, is that something that goes over someone's face, a mask that's attached to a bag and you squeeze it
It
to
goes
give
over-
air?
Yes, it's a
Bag valve mask goes over your nose and mouth.
alternative breathing apparatus.
At some point, do you go back upstairs to the first floor?
Yes.
And do you encounter Patrick Clancy when you go
No.
upstairs?
Yeah, so when they removed Cora, myself and Officer Cahill went back upstairs, where I encountered Mr. Clancy in the kitchen.
And what was his demeanor in the kitchen?
He was still frantic, kind of in shock, still screaming and losing himself. And
Okay, now listen, not everything is related to Karen Reed, but we all know that Lindsay did this and Patrick came home to it, right? Like facts speaking. When you come upon somebody or somebodies that you love and he's frantic and he's screaming and he's out of himself, and listen to this next part. I was like,
I think at that point, I don't know, one of us requested that we get an ambulance for him as well.
Who's that remind you of? So the next time anyone tells you that Karen was not appropriately responding to coming upon the body of Officer John O'Keefe, I don't know. Seems like a in shock, grief response. Let's make sure you're safe. And they did the same thing for Patrick Clancy.
Thank you, sir. Nothing further.
Okay. Last but not least. Breathe. Are we breathing? Are you with me? I know this is a lot. That's why we cliff notes, babe. We can't listen. We know the deets.
Again, on the screen here, what's been marked as Exhibit 50, this window here on the right, does that fairly represent the window that you look through and could see down into that
Yes.
basement office?
Yeah.
I got to tell you though, them doing like an actual layout of the house is helpful. And I haven't seen that in many Commonwealth cases.
And was the light on in the basement office when you
A
looked in?
light was on, yes.
And what did you see when you looked in the window?
After I heard the scream, I saw a male, older male gentleman, now knowing it was Patrick Clancy, unwrapping something from a child's head.
He's the last for me tonight, babe. Sorry.
And when you saw the male unwrapping something, can you demonstrate the motion that they were doing?
Yeah, the child was on the ground. The head was towards the window, so the head was towards the back of the house, and he picked the child up, and he was in a circular motion, taking something off the head. around the
Oh
around the neck.
God, help us all.
And could
A recall of Duxbury personnel, all Duxbury personnel, if they're available, to come back to the town to help out. For when I need help on the scene, and they also need help in the town to cover the town while I'm busy at the scene. And I also requested a mutual aid ambulance to respond to the scene.
because at that time there was only one ambulance that was
One
responsible.
ambulance from Miss Clancy, yes, and then I called another. Seeing the next patient, I called another ambulance in.
Okay. And what is mutual aid?
Mutual aid is it's a shared system that all the towns use. That if we get busy or busy with calls, we have to call help in from surrounding towns to give us a hand, whether it be fire related or medical related.
Does Duxbury only have one ambulance?
We have 3.
3, but you only had one staff that night?
Yes.
Okay, so you call in for an additional ambulance. At some point in time, do you learn that there are 2 other patients,
Yes.
Cora Clancy and Callan Clancy?
Yes.
At that point in time, do you have to do anything to call in more assistance?
Well, the recall for Duxbury personnel was already put in, so I called 2 more ambulances at that point.
And the scene that night, discovering another victim, was that a chaotic scene?
It turned very chaotic very quickly.
Okay. Yeah. And was it a situation where people would start treating a patient, but then have to move on to something else and someone would take over?
Sort of. I had 4, so I had myself as a shift commander, I had an EMT with me, but there's also 4 paramedics. So the way it ended up
That's a
working,
lot.
all the initial paramedics were with Miss Clancy in the beginning. And then when we found the other patients, we left a paramedic with Miss Clancy, a paramedic with Dawson, and then 2 paramedics were with the 2 other kids in the other room.
And did someone eventually also have to be with Patrick Clancy?
Eventually, yes. Yeah, but at the time, there was nobody with him in the beginning.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
All right, counsel.
No questions. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right. So listen, his testimony was what he saw in the house and what was happening with the exercise equipment that were the rubber bands. Now, I don't know why, babes. I was thinking of do you remember in the 2010s where everyone had green resistance bands or red resistant bands and they would come in these packs? I don't know why I was firm in my brain that was what it was, and it just wasn't. It was an 80s band, and with the handles and things. So I can't have. I've listened to the details. I can't play the details because it's quite literally too much. But we got to keep going, and we have to keep listening, and we have to keep understanding that these things shouldn't happen, and that there are failures, in my opinion, systematically of women's health, of stigma in postpartum care. I know that every mother that has ever been in my chat would say to you, when I went to my 8-week postpartum appointment with my baby, you got your questionnaire and you lied through your teeth, because at least 5 of those could have been checked off, maybe more. And you didn't because of fear. And you didn't because of shame. Because all we do is put on Facebook or on Instagram all the good parts, all of your highlight reels of life. And parenthood is hard. It's really hard. And it takes a toll on your body. It takes a toll on our spirit. Will we do it all over again? Absolutely. But let's fucking show the good, the bad, the ugly. Because when there's young mothers that see that oh my gosh, how is so-and-so do everything? How is she baking for the fucking PTA, working 50 hours? She also has a med spa and she blows her husband on Tuesdays. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't, Jill. No, she can't do it all. So be real. It's not all perfect. You love them, but if we could see the hard times with each other, you wouldn't feel so alone. So, hi, my name is Kim. I had postpartum anxiety after my second baby, and I was sleep deprived. I was unwell, and I had to ask for help. Love you. Okay, that's all I can do. That's all I can do for today, guys. All right, now let's go through our little commies. Not communists, but comments. And then we're doing the Venmos. And if you didn't say I can't read it, I'm going to read it aloud. Okay. Thank you to me, a gypsy girl, for 2 jewels because I'm a silver star. And thank you to Rockstar Chick 71, 30 jewels and a flower. And 10 jewels and a floating heart. Nobody's fingering hearts today from E. Chase. Love it. Meatball Morrissey Sketty Stain came to my house yesterday. Yes, heard it. Betrayed by USPS with a mugshot. I'll never be the same. Hide your children. Hide your wives. Jedi Jen, thank you so much for becoming a consensual member at Nurse Kim's house. And to Barbara Bananas, 3458, I'm not sure. And please explain, but did Patrick throw Lindsay under the bus when he said she sounded like she was in the middle of something? Barbara, I started this comment and we already talked about it. I'm very happy. And I'm glad that I hope that I made sense with that I think that it could have been before or after the unalivings had started. And that will have to be determined by medical examiners and also the experts, the medical experts. Thank you so much, Cassie Baby 1505, for gifting 5 Nurse Kim non-consensual memberships, doling them out because she's a rich bitch. Thank you, God, BF Daddy Trick Fan, for 440 jewels. Got an unk alert. And 2 jewels, 100%. Then we've got GG Easy. Why can't we see these? Thank you so much. Carrie Koss has been a member for 5 months at my house. Dang, 5 months. I'm proud to be a lovey. Love NK. Love you, Carrie. And to Becky Lou, 10 jewels of a floating heart. Thank you so much. And to SAB Zababnafa, thank you for becoming a new member at my house. And Carrie Kov, just a little something to let you know you're amazing. By the way, congratulations on your engagement. Boom. Boom. All right. Not today, Satan, but who would like to, Matante adjacent? We love them. And Anne Marie Canada, thank you for becoming a consensual member at Nurse Kim's house. Cassie, stop it. Giving me additional 5 non-consensual Nurse Kim memberships. I'm spoiled. And Becky Lou gave 80 jewels because we're clocking that T. And 2 jewels for 100. That's 50 times 2. Thank you to, oh, guys, I'm so bad. Humanilaria. This prosecutor is loveless. In other trials, the prosecution would at least say, sorry, I'm going to show you this. The prosecutor seems to treat all witnesses as if they're on cross, if that makes sense. Yes. Yes, it does. And see, like, people will say women are too emotional, right? And like, if you think of another prosecutor that we've seen behind the scenes, Laura McLaughlin, Law McLaw, the purple people eater, as I used to like to call her, she's giving what the duck vibes, what the buck. All right, everyone, get a deer, find a deer, what the buck. That is who our prosecutor is now. And it's like being emotionless in a trial like this is a choice. It's a stylistic choice. And I don't know if that's going to be the best one for her case. Her having compassion, her having empathy, her being able to see that this is so difficult instead of just boom, boom, boom. And also going beyond her own scope by saying which order of operations that the children were unalived, that had to have a curative instruction. So I don't know if that's the best strategy coming from the prosecution. And I do think Kevin Reddington is is about to, like, old man Boston knock this out of the park. Like Big Poppy in 04. All right, Dakota girl. Does this officer by any chance have relations to the husband and or friends with the husband? Just curious, respectfully. I don't know. But if anyone does know, can you tell Dakota girl? And thank you, Dakota girl, for 440 joules for an uncle art. And thank you to Colleen and Trish 02136 for being a member at my house for 8 months. Psychotic. I'm sorry. I bid you adieu. So good to see you back in action. You look great. You look great, babe. And then we have Laura C86 says, just stopping to spy to say I support you always, Kim. Laura, thank you so much. I support you, babe. And Sarah, be creative. I'm just here to show my love for Nurse Kim. Cut it out, all right? You cut it out. I'm gonna have to show you my fucking mugshot / passport picture if we don't, like, all right? 10 joules for a gold coin, gold doubloons. And I got a free Kelsey sends 450 joules via a butterfly. Spread your wings and prepare to fly because you have become a butterfly. Comer K gives 400 joules. Fly like an eagle to the sea. And Anne Marie Canada gifted 1 non-consensual Nurse Kim membership, like we're dancing for dollars at the Centerfolds in Worcester. You know the rest. Thank you. And to Catherine 55SS, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Jeno, my OG mod, clutch, clench, kegel. We know the drill. Now you know what time it is. Stay here. Focus. Put yourself bigger. Make me bigger. Okay. Hi. Oh, hi. How are you? All right. Let's get ready to Venmo, babes. Coming in hot. Are you guys being funny? Oh, where do they live? I heard it. It went ching. Okay. Cassie, baby, says, don't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad. Use this to get Montante some dinosaur chicken nuggies. We all know they're the best. Cassie, are you out of your friggin' mind? You know this man wants SpaghettiOs. Okay? SpaghettiOs. Little meatball. Can't tell him shit. Thank you, boo. And thank you, Cassie again says, just because it's payday and I love you, babe. Stop it. Stop it. That's very kind. I love you. I appreciate you. And Christina Reed, thank you for the $20 for You're the Best. Cheers. No one's talking shit. I thought there was going to be, come on, shit talk Venmo. Talk about, give your opinion on drama in the Venmo. Then I'll have to read it. Remember? Because we were saying if we're going to go forward, we want to put all of our positive energy. But if you want to just tell me your opinion, I'll leave it in here. If you want me to read it out, I'll do that too. Noah, nope, that's not me. God, is there a way that these can only be to you? Because I don't want to be reading other people's things that are on my feed. Colleen, thank you so much for $5 just because. You're welcome to share if you like. More goodies coming soon. My goodies. My goodies. Denise gave $10 for Nurse Kim. Thank you so much. Oh, wait, let me love these. Can I love these? Ooh, look what she's doing. Look, you guys are getting hot. It's hot me. Nope, that's not me. Oh my God, that's so weird that you can heart other people's things. Valerie paid $30. I fully support you, NK. I'm 100% sure I dislike the hypocrisy I have seen by the male FKR creators lately. Keep being you. Thank you, Valerie. I appreciate that, babe. That means a lot to me. Rebecca paid $10. I want to take that sexy black bow on her pretty head. Wait. I want to take that sexy black bow on her pretty head right up where the sun don't shine. She's talking about what the buck. Buckingham, day one, opening arguments. She was shoving it where the sun don't shine. I was like, where's this going? Where's this going, Becca? And Jessica Walsh, bitch. Thank you so much. $50. Thank you for being the queen you are. Hashtag Montante is a verb. Thank you so much, babe. And Laura Brady paid $1 and said, what's the buck? No, she said, what is the P.O. box? Laura, it is. Hold, please. It is Nurse Kim, P.O. Box 159, Dunstable, Mass. 01827. What the buck? Thanks, babe. Romy, thank you so much, babe. Gave $50 and said, I ride at dawn for you. Miss your face. Thank you, babe. Miss you too. I was just being a little sassy gal this week and said, woohoo, we'll go back on Thickums Thursday. And I swear I heard something. I don't want to be weird here and not read it. Oh. Okay. Danielle says, I'm wondering what thank you so much, babe, for $20. Says, thank you so, wondering what the majority thinks about the suicide attempt. Do people really think she tried to unalive herself or not? I just feel like if she really wanted to, she should have done something else. Just my opinion. Say thank you. I'm saying thank you. I put a little hearty. Thank you, Danielle. So I do believe that she tried to unalive herself because she is paralyzed. And I don't think that she gingerly dropped from her second floor window because she wouldn't have sustained the cervical and the spinal injuries in which she did. She also, Kevin Reddington discusses in his opening statement that there was a cervical spine that was severed via the cut to her neck. So I don't think this was a joke at all. I don't think this was a hoax. I don't think there is anything. She is in a prison in her own body and in her own mind until her last breath. That's it. Patrick is also in a prison in his own mind. Also, my hearts go out to every first responder who went to that scene. And I'm going to tell you this, babes. A lovey posted in my chat, I heard about Lindsay Clancy for the first time at Nurse Kim's house over a year and a half ago, and she went over everything with me. And I remember it like it was fucking yesterday when I saw it. It was on Facebook. I wasn't even I was like a little bit on TikTok at the time. And I remember being like, oh my God. And I know nurses that know Lindsay. IRL, not like, oh, I know her on TV. In real life, they were like devastated. Imagine, I also know family members and family friends of Patrick. Like I'm not like close to it. I don't know Patrick. I've never spoken to anybody that's in the immediate or like extended family, but like this has been a nightmare. It would have been a nightmare for anyone's family. But the fact that he was sitting on that lawsuit and he knew that it was negligence that resulted in the loss of your children, and he, in sum and substance, is testifying in favor of her being in a mental hospital for the rest of her life. You guys realize that if found not guilty by reason of mental defect, Lindsay doesn't go home. She doesn't go hang out in a ranch in fucking Dighton somewhere. She'll be at Tewksbury State. There's no home. But does she belong in jail? That's the question. So, all right. On that note, you are the smartest and the prettiest to ever do it. We have shit to do. Okay. We're going to be covering this tomorrow. No, I'll have to do it over the weekend because I'm going away tomorrow, but I'll be back Saturday afternoon. All right. And have a good Friday. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. I love your faces. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.